All right, what's going on, everybody? It's been a minute once again. Calling Neil Luke Scott on Sam Houston Sports Talk. Just want to let you know before we get started that be sure you subscribe today and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Same, just search Sam Houston Sports Talk. Not hard to find whatsoever. I have to apologize, Luke. I've been kind of busy with life a little bit. I wish that I've had more time on my hands. I mean, I do have time on my hands, but usually it's been time resting. I've been all over the state of Texas over the last few weeks. I went up to Wichita Falls twice, went to Hondo, Texas. It's been kind of a weird last few weeks for me, but you know what? I'm just glad that I don't have to do those long drives anymore.
Colin, those road trips are fun. I like driving. I like going all across the state of Texas, but Hondo, Wichita Falls. Now we're talking from where you are there
Yeah.
in Pearland. That's quite the stretch of a
Yeah.
drive.
Yeah. The furthest one we did though was La Mesa, Texas. That was a crazy drive. You remember when I did that. That was a crazy drive. I don't think I recovered for that for a while now that I think about it because of how much I drove that one day. But I got paid, so that's
Yeah.
really all I care about. But we got a bit to talk about here in the Sam Houston sports world. We're gonna kick off with the softball, but later we're gonna talk baseball. I have my own 2 cents about it once again, and Lamar Wilkerson heading off to a Big Ten school. We'll get to that in just later on in the pod, and then the spring portal for football also opened. We'll get to that. Some Bearcats have already entered the portal, but seems like the recruiting side of things for the recruitment staff for football has been quite busy. They've been hosting a lot of visits and they've been offering quite a lot of players. We'll get to that later on in the Sam Houston Sports Talk podcast. But first, softball. Let's start with the good news. Luke, everyone wants to start with some bad news. I want to start with some good news. Softball continues to play out of their freaking mind as of late. They sweep the school out west in the UTEP minors over this past weekend, winning all 3 games. They began with a 4-2 victory where Abigail Young threw another complete game, 7 innings of 2-run ball. Then they won Saturday 2-0, and then they won Sunday 6-2. Jenny Robinson, as a result, was named Conference USA Player of the Week. She's been tearing it up at the plate, and she continues to, you know, have a great bounce back year, especially after last year. Luke, this softball team has performed really well. I mean, I knew they were going to be better than last year by all means, but as of late, I mean, the record's 23-21, 11-7 in conference, but as of late, they've won 4 in a row. They're looking dead set on making some noise in the Conference USA tournament when they make it.
They are it. And you already talked about Jenny Robinson just going nuts all throughout the past month. And so, you're coming off the swept. They got swept against New Mexico State late in March. And
Yeah.
then all they've done since, they've gone 6-7. They beat Texas State. They took 2 of 3 against FIU. And of course, like you said, took down UTEP. Colin, we've always been talking about the softball team and saying, okay, there's some potential here. Like we just got to see it. And we saw a glimpse of it at the very beginning, and they kind of went a little 500, and now it seemed to have picked back up. Nothing but really good things to really talk about. Colin, you mentioned the pitching, Abigail Young. You talked about Jenny Robinson. I mean, it's kind of more of that. It's more deep than that. The line has really been clicking. Just from look at last year to this year, not as many errors. They're getting the outs when they need them. It just seems like the team is just a little bit more well connected, like we've seen.
Yeah, they're on pace right now to have their best season since 2019 when they won the Southland Conference tournament and went to the Austin Regional and beat Texas. That by the way, that is the last time that they've had a 500 season as a as of like the last 11 years. They've not had a 500 or better season before 2019 since 2014. If my count serves me correct, they've only had 7 winning seasons since 1990. So this is quite great success that softball is experiencing right now, and I'm personally really, really happy for the team. I'm really glad that head coach Gary Wallace is seeing success right now, especially since ever since 2019, it's been kind of a rough go of things. 19 wins in 2021. I mean, 90 wins in 2020, but who really wants to count that year anyway? 15 wins in 2022. Finally got the 20 win mark in 2023-22, but then only got 20 wins in 2024. Now you already have 23 wins. You still got a good bit of ball to play, and I can only see them going up from here. But they do have a tough, they do
Yeah.
have a tough matchup this weekend against a ranked team in the country in Liberty. I can't remember what rank they are. I have to go back and look. I
20,
believe
22.
22. They're number 22 in the country. Now think about how great of a momentum boost. They already have momentum boost right now, Luke, but they can have such a bigger boost if they can go to Lynchburg and take that series against the Flames, number 22 in the country.
Yeah, and you talk about the diamond sports like baseball and softball. You really got to take advantage when you're playing good ball. And this is one of those moments in the season that you got to take advantage of being in some good form and really executing in some pressure spots like they have done in the past 6 and 7 games. This is an opportunity that you can go to Lynchburg, to Virginia, to go play Liberty and really, kind of separate yourself from the rest of the pack in Conference USA. We kind of understand that Liberty probably will win the conference regular season title. They've just been on a tear recently. But this is a chance where you could really separate yourself and get into the upper echelon of the conference when it comes to seeding for the tournament and whatnot. But yeah, a really good opportunity. And, they've really taken advantage of that, of this past few games, this month of April. Um, playing good ball. So really excited
Yeah.
to see kind of what they go for them. I'd like to see a little bit more success on the bottom half of the lineup, but when you win 6 of your last 7, there's not much to complain about.
Yeah, I think Morgan Holiday is going to be a very big key contributing factor when it comes to that bottom of the lineup to set up that top of the order. Hebel started off slow this year, Luke, but she's gotten to the point where she can be that reliable bat in that lineup. And Brody Quinlan's still doing her thing. Jenny Robinson rather, I should say, still doing her thing. Kendall Daniel, the pitching with Abigail Young, Tiffany Sanchez, and Mackenzie Jenkins. I don't know where Amy Apke's been. I haven't seen her. I wonder if it. I hope it's nothing too serious. But overall, the pitching staff has been holding it down 2-0, 2-2, 4-3-0 in that stretch ever since they got swept by New Mexico State. I mean, that's been kind of one of the biggest issue overall for the team over the past few years was that pitching.
Yeah, that's kind of been the struggling spot, especially in the late part of the games, kind of like what we see in baseball this year. For softball, traditionally it was they start off all right, and then the later the game goes, the later innings, whether it's in relief or whether it's just later in starts, you kind of saw leads collapse. And this year that hasn't been the case. Knock on wood, but they've been very well uh, executing while in the lead and in close games, and that's all you can really ask for. I think Coach Walsh has done a really great job up and down the coaching staff. We talked about the additions that they have made just to end the infrastructure of the program, right? Really investing up and down the lineup and the coaching staff and facilities. You see the progress there, and you really see some of the results that have come with it.
And kind of relaying back to that lineup, of course, it helps. In that 6-2 win against the Miners to convert the sweep. Bella Perez went 0-3 with the walks, but others around her, you had Morgan Holiday going for 2-2 with the homer and a walk. Then Hobbs got on base, and I mean, and Brody Quinn went 2-3. But the thing is, there's going to be games where the top of the order is not going to have a good day. We've seen it before, and I think you made a really great point that bottom of the lineup has to get going, and so that lineup's not so top heavy because I think the pitching is fine. I rather be saying that the hitting needs some work more than the pitching because when it comes to tourney time, in my opinion, the pitching is going to be the key to getting far in that tournament, which is going to be coming very soon. It starts May 7th. I mean, the Bearcats still got Liberty. They still got a one game set with Lamar at Beaumont, and then you got Jack State in Jacksonville, Alabama, and then the end of the season you got 3-game series against Louisiana Tech, and then boom, you're off. You're off to Bowling Green, Kentucky, at the WKU softball complex. That's where the softball tournament's going to be for Conference USA. So still some time to iron things out, but it'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, it's quickly approaching, and the good thing though is that this is this time of year, Sam Houston, we're playing good ball, right? We're executing. It's definitely a tough way to end the season. Going to Beaumont or going to Liberty and then going to Beaumont to play Lamar, and then La Tech's always tricky. So it'll be or Jack State is tricky. So it'll be a good test. Kind of closing out the year, but really pleased with how they've played. I wish we could say that for baseball, but different circumstances, completely, really. But yeah, really, really, really excited for this team and pleased with how they've played.
Well, wrap up. That's the first time I had that. What a great start, really. It's been a while. I mean, I thought we were going to be a little rusty to begin because it's been quite a while since we've sat behind our computer screens and tried to put down a pod. But I'm ready to rock and roll, bro.
I know. I'm really fixing to hit a really busy next month or so, just with circumstances away
Yeah.
from this. But
No one told me that life
thankfully
after college is going to be I think I could say the word, but it's going to be a B word. Life after college is
hit me with that. What does that mean?
I don't think I can say it. Try to keep it family friendly here, Luke.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah, but after, that's when we'll kind of be in a little bit of a downtime. But, after, when is the softball tournament calling? What were the dates of that?
May 7th to May 10th.
Yeah. So, it'll be really picking up around there. So,
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. But, super busy, super fun now time coming up for me and for you, really. And just before you know it, we'll be back into football mode and really thinking about the gridiron.
Yeah, we'll get to football just a little bit later on in this pod, but we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, Lamar Wilkerson, one of the best, if not the best scorer in Sam Houston men's basketball history, has found a new home in the Big Ten. We'll get more to that, and we will hear from Lamar Wilkerson. He had a sit down with the field of 68. I found some pretty interesting sound bites for why he went to Indiana. He also was very highly sought after by a lot of big time programs. We'll get to that next. So I was just talking to you about what I just bought from Best Buy, Luke. It's a surge protector with 8 outlets and a 6-foot cord that I got for $30. I mean, is that a deal? Is it a deal? It's a pretty good deal.
Colin, at our age range, when you're bragging about something that you bought at Best Buy, a deal at Best Buy, you just know it's.
I'm becoming a dad,
like,
am I? I'm becoming a dad, am I?
Just a grown dude, just a grown man now, man. You really are.
Oh man, but
Check out this deal that I got at Best Buy.
well, I'll tell you,
okay.
I'll tell you somebody that might have gotten a great deal. Lamar Wilkerson, he is off to a Big Ten school from the portal to play out his final year of eligibility. That he got, it was granted to him and a lot of other JUCO players because of the Diego Pavia ruling. I imagine that will extend to softball and baseball. Nothing official, but if it happens for basketball and it's going to happen for baseball and softball. But anyway, yes, you heard me right. He's going on to Indiana to play for the Hoosiers. And Luke, you and I seem to be on the same wavelength when it comes to, yeah, this is the best decision that he could have made for himself, especially with the all the other power schools that were going after him, like Kentucky, Auburn. I heard A&M, Texas, and Ole Miss were also looking at him. But I think he made the right decision. I'll get more into why I think it's the right decision, but I feel like you're already going to say it because you already tweeted out on the same Sports Talk account, which I think you made it was a great point. National recognition.
Yeah, totally. And when you're going to Indiana, the expectation at Indiana is to win. Now, I know they haven't done it in a long time, not since Bobby Knight, I believe, which was I believe that was their perfect season. But obviously, it's a great opportunity for Lamar Wilkerson, one of the nation's top 3-point shooters, a true scorer, guy that can go down low. He's worked on his floater game. When he first got to Sam Houston, he was a 3-and-D guy. Stick him in the corner. He's got to run to the 3-point line and wait for the ball. And I think part of it was Mudge and Hooten really helped him out. While at Sam Houston, really became more of a 3-level scorer, a guy that can go to the rack, attack, really win in the mid range, and still can shoot from the long ball, shoot from deep. This guy's a really good player, and I know he was kind of a solo act for him at times a little bit this year, but this is a great addition for Indiana. I'm sure we'll get clipped by some Indiana fan podcasts, but really good opportunity for Lamar playing in Assembly Hall. It's definitely a lot bigger than Johnson Coliseum, and the fact that he's actually went and played there,
Yeah.
I think also helps too. And he got to see kind of what that atmosphere looks like, for not necessarily a top tier game for Indiana. It was a big game for us, but it was for one of them. It was one of their warm ups. But um, there's an expectation, and it's a new coaching staff that's coming in to Indiana. It's Coach DeVries there. He was at Drake for a long time, went to West Virginia, and now is going to Indiana. So yeah, a lot to look forward to. Checking out his career and see where he'll go from there. But definitely just good for Lamar, man. It's a huge step, especially when you see a guy that went JUCO and goes to a school like Sam Houston, and now it's at Indiana. It's definitely it's heartwarming, just for Lamar. I mean, we know he's a good dude. Both of us have interacted with him throughout the past few years, and just really happy for him the opportunity. And yeah, I mean, it's disappointing for Sam Houston, but losing that type of player. But we just kind of knew, he wasn't going to stay.
Well, Lamar Wilkerson talked to Field of 68, which, if you're a college basketball fan and if you want to get into college basketball and learn more, I'd highly recommend following those guys. They do a tremendous job. It's Jeff Goodman and Rob Douster. His name is the other guy with the beard, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Rob Doster, John Fanta will
Yeah,
be on there occasionally. Terrence Oglesby, I really like the Field of 68 guys.
yeah,
Um, they're one of the more they have a mix between former players, like they'll have like Tyler Hansbrough on and John Henson, two guys that played in the NBA, college basketball guy, legends. They have some broadcasters and they have former coaches on there all the time. Super consistent. I think they pull things out daily. I mean, they really are super consistent. They're kind of like the Colin. Who's the baseball guys that you follow? The guys that run D1 baseball, I think.
yeah. It's
That you
D1baseball.com
follow.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they are super consistent. No free ad, but Field of 68 guys are great.
Yeah, well, here is Lamar Wilkerson. This is what he led off with when asked when he got asked you know, about Indiana.
I'm grateful for the opportunity that I had to get recruited by the top blue bloods in the school. It was a hard decision, but Indiana felt like home, man. I'm ready to bring Hoosier basketball back, man.
Yeah, and here's the thing from my perspective, he made the right choice because that's where he's going to get more playing time. That's where he's going to have a better chance of starting in that starting five and to, you know, make a name for himself while also building up potential NBA stock that he was reportedly building up as last season went on. And Jeff Goodman went on and asked him about Indiana, why he chose that over some other schools, and kind of what was the thought process of that.
So why was it Indiana? I mean, you had Kentucky. Who else was it at the end? I know it was Indiana, Kentucky at the very end, but why Indiana over Kentucky and some of these other big time programs?
Like I said, it was a pleasure to be recruited by Kentucky, but I didn't want to go to Kentucky and just be another guy, you know, that has already been to Kentucky, man. Hoosiers basketball, you know, it's a big time name, and you know they haven't been where they wanted to be, and you know I trust Coach DeVries and what he's bringing in, and the type of coach he is, and how he's going to, you know, put us in position to win. And if we could do this together, man, it's just gonna make my story better, his story better, and then Hoosier basketball will be back.
You can go ahead.
Yeah, I love what he's saying right there, man. And Coach DeVries, you know, it was just 2 years ago he was at Drake and he was running the Valley in that conference, Arch Madness. Drake, you know, still is really good. You know, they were in the tournament this year and won a game, but I kind of see it as a mid-major coach, really in his first big opportunity. I know West Virginia was his first job, but he was only there for 1 year, I believe. I think it was only 1 year, and injuries kind of derailed that season. Probably still should have made the tournament anyways. So I think it's kind of still having that mid-major attitude from the coach, just in a big-time spot. And I think Indiana fits Lamar Wilkerson a little bit more, just because we know Kentucky, and I know it's different coaches than Calipari. Calipari was that, you know, bring the 5-star freshman in, you know, start as many freshmen as possible and really bank on these young guys. You know, that's really what college basketball, I think, fits anymore, really. And I feel like Indiana understands that, and I think they embrace it a little bit more. And, you know, we know the NIL deals that Indiana basketball can bring, right? It's the iconic, it's the red and white candy stripe pants. I mean, it's a whole, you know, aura, right? It's the aura of Indiana basketball. It's like this hidden legend that, you know, our parents talk about, but we have never seen, right? It's like the what's the Loch Ness monster, right? They're kind of like the Loch Ness monster of college basketball, if you will. But
I'm just
no,
surprised
I think it's a good fit.
I'm just surprised you worked the word aura in there. I was not expecting that at all.
Well, it's the word of the past like month, so I had to throw it in at some point. But
It's actually, I think it's actually
I don't
been,
know what you think.
I think it's actually been chicken jockey. That's been the chicken jockey's been the word or the words.
Friend of the program, Christian Cortez said he was with his family and he's got siblings and younger cousins and whatnot, and they went to go see it, and he said he was like total kid movie. He was, for those that don't know, Christian Cortez went with us to the bowl game and helped take pictures for us and whatnot, was on the sidelines. But yeah, he said it was its own experience. I think that was his quote.
I think it's just so funny. It's outperforming Snow White. That's the funniest thing ever, honestly. One of the funniest things ever. But
Jack Black sells, man. Jack Black sells.
but you know, you mentioned the NIL money, and Lamar got asked that question. Here was his response.
Mom's not in here, so I can say it, but you know, definitely got to do something for my Dukes, man. I owe it all to her. You know, I wouldn't be here right now if that lady didn't make the sacrifices she done, and you know, so she's definitely gonna get the better end of it for real.
Good. Hey, that's awesome. That's the way it should be. You know, like to give back.
Yeah, I think that's really, I don't know. There's not any. I've not seen a number for what Lamar was getting offered. I heard that it was in the upper 6 figures, even got into the 7 figures. I think it got into the 7 figures. If you want me to have a prediction, but yeah, it's good. It's good to see that Lamar, a guy like him, is getting an opportunity to make a name for himself. And overall, the overall point is that he made the absolute right decision, in my opinion. And I'm excited to see what he will do at Indiana. I mean, I won't be watching every single game by any means. I'll peep in here and there. I mean, I'm for sure going, if they're on national TV, I'm going to watch. But I'm excited to see what he does there. And all I can say is don't forget where you came from.
That's right. That's right. Sam Houston. But no, I think that backcourt can be really special between him and Tucker DeVries. That'll be there. I'm assuming because of his father coaching, but yeah, it could be a really fun backcourt. Just to look out for. I know the Big Ten has kind of turned into a league where the reffing is very hit and miss, a lot of touch fouls, and I think not necessarily that Lamar Wilkerson can't survive in a physical game, but I think that more finesse type play can really benefit him and his way to kind of space the court. I love the fit there for Lamar. Yeah, I'm excited to seeing some Indiana basketball. I always like rooting on the old Sam Houston players that transfer on. I always kept an eye. I know you did too. Kept an eye on Ole Miss basketball this past year with Barnes. Always good to see the guys. Zach Nuttall when he went to SMU. Always good to see those guys move on and see what they can do at that next upper tier of college basketball.
Yeah, well, we'll see what Wilkerson does. All right, we'll pivot back to the Diamond Sports as Luke's internet connection, or it's my internet connection, is fighting right now because every time I look at him, he seems to be freezing. But, it is what it is. You seem to be all good right now, though, Luke, looking all handsome and all that. But anyway, like I said, we'll head on over
Fresh haircut today, Colin. Fresh haircut today.
Hey, there you go. I need a haircut for the love of God. I desperately need one. But anyway, we'll talk about baseball when we come back. Baseball is, yeah, that's about where I'm going to leave it at right there. We'll talk more about that next. This is Sam Houston Sports Talk. All right, we're back up again here on Sam Houston Sports Talk. Luke Scott alongside me, Colin Neal. Baseball. It's been rough. It's been rough to say the least. I I don't really want to dwell on it too much. I mean, it's tough to ignore when lost to Lamar when you were up 9-6 and you give up 12 unanswered runs and lose 18-9. I mean, Lamar's a good team by all means. That Southland Conference is a great league this year, but excuse me, it's not what you want. You haven't won since April 5th against New Mexico State. You're on a 6-game losing streak. You're 8-29. You're 2-10 in conference. You've only won 6 games at home this year at the Dawn. I don't know. It reminds me a lot about football in 2023. Just how rough that season was. This is probably a bit worse. I mean, it's different sports, different dynamics, but yeah, it's tough. It's been tough this season. Honestly, at this point, I can't wait for it to be over.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I like the comparison there. It's just like, young team. It's almost kind of very similar to to basketball this year. A young team, injuries here and there, but really it's just being run support. Haven't been able to score runs and haven't been able to really put pressure on other teams. Yeah, when we played against A&M, you got an early home run, and I was thinking, oh, okay, like, maybe we can do something here, and obviously that didn't happen, and a disappointing series against Kennesaw. Lamar wasn't great, give up a couple huge big innings there, which really killed us there. And now you're going up against DBU, who's obviously really good. I don't know, just not a lot of bright spots other than, I guess, a lot of young guys getting playing time. But
It's
I don't
just
know.
it's
In
just
the golf world, we'd say not a lot of green boxes, and it's been a lot of red boxes for us this year.
it's just been the pitching, man. Like let's outside of Ryan Peterson, like who else has really stand out? It's I mean, I will say this though. Cam Diaz has actually been really stellar over the past appearances. He's been really good. He had that good start against he had a good start to his start against A&M, and I thought he threw decent, I guess, against Kennesaw State. Um it's just been nobody else has been necessarily been standing out as of late. And even Peterson, he got the Owls got the best of him in that 10-0 loss on April 12th this past Saturday. It's just rough as hell, man. And it's hard going on. It's hard going on Twitter. I try to keep a level-headed mindset. I try not to veer too far to the negative side. I try not to veer too far into the positive side. Cherish the positive moments, learn from the negative moments, move on, have a short-term memory, try to be objective and all that. I'm not gonna lie, Luke. I just absolutely hate seeing the okay, I don't really necessarily hate it because I understand where they're coming from, but it's the Fire Sirianni stuff it's getting a little too out there in my opinion.
You want to talk more about it?
I got solutions, I guess. I mean, one that I would really see, or one I really really love to see. I mean, I guess it's ultimately up to Coach Sirianni and the school and giving them the money. But what would really help is hiring an assistant pitching coach. Because what a lot of people don't understand is that when a guy becomes a head coach, I'm gonna give you an exercise, Luke. Do they do a lot of coaching when they become the head coach? Are they able to?
No.
Yeah, it's paperwork. It's a whole bunch of paperwork. That's one thing. That's one thing I got told. A whole bunch of paperwork. But ultimately, when it comes game time and like making the lineups and stuff, it's ultimately up to you what you want to do. But there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. It's tough, especially when you are a coach in a in the mid major these days with how NIL is, how the transfer portal is. It's tough, and Sirianni is the pitching coach as well, with Long being the head coach. Honestly, Luke, if someone else was hired as an assistant pitching coach to, basically help out Sirianni when it comes to that, I think that this team I think it would help the program a lot much better. But it's either up to Sirianni or it's up to the school giving baseball the money to do that. Also, it's we really need to. I think facilities there's some things facilities wise just that needs to be better. That turf's just I know that it doesn't has nothing to do with the play on the field. I'm just gonna just put it right here. That turf just needs to go away. Get it out of here. I heard that baseball will probably be getting new turf in the summer, but it does need to go away. It's unattractive. It's outdated as hell. And there's just some other things facilities wise that we can tackle plenty of years down the road. But I don't know. I have a lot more to say, but I'll just say this season isn't justification enough to fire Sirianni. I think it's more than a head coaching problem. I think the body language is not right. It's not there right now. There's just some things that happen in the game where I analyze and look at the details and all that, and I'm like, okay, there's something more than just fire the head coach going on here. Fire the head coach just seems like an easy answer to everything that goes wrong. And yes, is this the worst season in baseball history for Sam Houston? Oh yeah, absolutely it is. It's disappointing. It's tough. But again, Sirianni also took this team to a regional. And remember last year, Luke, last athletic year, when the Keeler and Sam Houston football went 3-9, a lot of people were calling for Keeler's head, and I was one of them. Yours truly right here was one of those people. I regret that now because they went, guess what happened next year? They went 10-3 with a bowl win at the RL Carey's New Orleans Bowl. two totally different sports, yes, but I'm just not willing to pull the plug on Sirianni yet. I think next year is where you're gonna have to look at it. It's just the end of this season can't come any sooner. That's kind of what my 2 cents is. I'm not on board with the Sirianni fire Sirianni train at all. So,
Colin, I think one of the a lesson that we can all learn from this is something quite simple, and that we've heard this our entire lives. Everyone has listened, that listening to us right now has heard this before. Patience is a virtue. I think we just need to be patient a little bit. Let's not get too antsy into kind of everything that's been going on. Like, we understand it's not been a great year, but you also have to understand the circumstances, and you have to understand of what this coach has done for us before. And I think your idea of really investing more into the program, I don't know if you have sort of inside information on that, but I think it's a good idea. We saw softball do a very similar thing right there, really. I mean, and hire a true pitching coach.
yep.
And we've seen it pay dividends, right? And so I think the more you invest, especially with our size of school, right, a mid-major, in such a good conference, that Conference USA is, you hate to say, like, oh, you're buying your victories here, but you really have to invest in your program. And if it was up to me, Colin, we'd go natural grass in all of our stadiums and all of our complexes. I know it's not going to happen. It's not feasible. I get it. But when you say the turf, yeah, like that's like that needs to happen, and upgrading, your facilities, that needs to happen, and it has to happen with your personnel. We talk about it. I know you talk about it with your job at 610, pro personnel, and really investing, like the Texans and the Rockets and all these Houston teams that invest in their facilities and in the people that in the buildings. Sam Houston has to do the same thing, and now you can't just be good enough. You have to be beyond of what to expect, right, to be successful. And I think we just need to be patient here with Sirianni. If people are saying to fire him, I sympathize with the people, but I'm certainly not one of those. Just because I know if Sirianni's on the block, right? If people are looking at him, he's going to go somewhere else, and they're going to pay him a whole lot more money, and it's going to be good, like, for them. Like, I just know it, and I know he likes Sam Houston. I get it. So we'll see. I think we just need to be patient, and just kind of roll with it and see what happens. We'll put the trust in the guy that we've trusted for years now, and he's done very well.
Well, right now, Sam Houston is in threat of not even making the Conference USA tournament. Only one team doesn't make it. They're one game behind Middle Tennessee, who are 3-9. The rest of the season, how it goes, you got DBU this weekend in the 3-game series, then you go to College Station against Texas A&M. Then you have a 3-game series on the road. They're on the road for quite a bit in this stretch of 7 games, because they also go to Jacksonville State. Then they come back home, face Baylor on April 29th. Then they stay home and face Liberty in a 3-game series. And this is probably going to be the series that determines if they're going to go to the Conference USA tournament or not. 3-game series at Murfreesboro against Middle Tennessee, and then versus HCU in a one-game set, and then a 3-game series against FIU to end the year. And then the Conference USA tournament is a little over a month away on May 21st. So, yeah, it's this is also a tough stretch of the next 4 games, by the way. Just to note that's tough.
Colin, that's awful. That's an awful stretch, dude. How many more games do you think Sam Houston can win?
At this point, if they can
for the rest of the season,
at this point, if they can just get the 10 wins, just to ease the pain a little bit.
I mean, that's a brutal stretch.
Yeah.
Being on the road, and it's not like you're going to kind of bad teams. I mean, you're going to some really good teams there. So,
yeah, and for y'all saying it's embarrassing to lose to Lamar, stop. You don't know. Stop. Lamar's really good. So but I'm
It's not the
surprised.
Lamar of old, is it?
No, it's not. They're really good. They nearly made the regionals last year auto bid at large bid alone. They couldn't make they can make it this year and make some noise. But I'll do it for the baseball talk in this one. I'm done talking about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I kind of want to want to add a new segment, but before we do that, before we get to that segment, because I've got some interesting interesting input on a new commit for Sam Houston men's basketball. Let's go to the gridiron. We haven't talked football in quite a while. Football spring portal opened today, and some Bearcats have already entered the portal, but the recruitment staff has been busy. Who has entered the portal, though, from Sam Houston? We'll get to that and more next. Sam Houston Sports Talk. Keep it right here. All right, let's take a break from the other sports. We haven't talked football in quite a while. The spring portal opened today, and already 4 Bearcats have entered it. First, it was Matthew Ribasala, defensive lineman, plays more on the interior. Then it was Jaden Cardell, the punter. Orion Irving, he was the offensive line situation was kind of weird this past season, kind of because it was a constant rotation, but a good tackle in Orion Irving, big guy too. And just about an hour ago, quarterback Silas Gomez entered the transfer portal. Those are the 4 as we know now, as we're recording at 4:46 p.m. Central Time. But but I think that some of these are kind of expected, especially Silas Gomez with how deep that QB room is, quote unquote, because of a lot of guys. And I think Gomez, I was kind of expecting. I was surprised Gomez didn't transfer earlier into the portal earlier, but yeah, not Cardell had entered the portal back in December and then came back, but now he's re-entering. So the Ribasala is kind of that's the one I'm more upset about, because I really liked him when he played before he had that season-ending injury. But so far, not really too big of names yet to say that have left. But the recruitment staff at Sam Houston football have been keeping very busy. They've been hosting quite a lot of visits. They picked up some key commitments. We'll get to that in a later pod whenever the whole portal cycle ends, because there's a lot to really break down on that. But overall, not really anything eye-opening. But if there's one part of the portal that I hope they do, is that they continue to get some guys, especially more from the more experienced ranks, because when that first portal cycle opened, Luke, they were getting a lot of guys from like the FCS ranks, the JUCO ranks, probably more depth pieces than anything. Some guys though I'm pretty excited about, but I'm kind of curious to see where they go in attack when it comes to this portal cycle.
Yeah, obviously have to replace a lot, and we talked about that in pods a little while ago. Talking about all the replacements that we're gonna need, just from guys that really transferred to bigger schools and better opportunities. But the Ribasalo one, that one kind of hurts, because we were already kind of thin on the D line. I think after the transfer portal initially hit with the grad transfers and whatnot, and now you use another body, and obviously he was coming off a big injury. But Colin, you saw him in spring practice last year, really talked him up. We saw him a little bit this year when he was healthy, really looked good. That would be a big loss. And Cardell, I wasn't the biggest Cardell fan, but punting's punting. Good teams need good punters, and I think Cardell can offer that at times. He punted really well down the stretch for us, which I have to give him props for that. When the offense was really struggling there for a while, he was a guy that really helped put our defense in some really good positions. So, and Silas Gomez, not a big surprise there. He wasn't going to find playing time anyway. So, I got to replace a lot, but it's really too early to really tell. We'll know better. Probably know better around, the end of April, end of May, like between that time, we'll get to really learn more. But definitely there's some big stories going out there around the transfer portal. Nico, uh, Tennessee. A lot of weird stuff going on, and not
Weird
the
is an
best look.
weird is an understatement when it comes to Nico Iamaleava.
Disappointing, really, to be honest. But
Yeah, but hey,
I don't know.
I kind of had this thought. Since Sam Houston does not have a lot of NIL dollars by any means, I don't know if they're getting more from donations, especially with the hiring of Longo, because the hiring of Longo, Luke, really excited
What?
a lot of the alumni.
Yeah, did you see uh the vote that's coming up there for
Yeah,
students?
yeah. So it would increase the athletic fee by $1.
Yeah.
I think you can. I think you can. The thing is, I think it can be passable, but the thing is, it has this is kind of going to be this could be an unfair
Well,
question
it's per credit hour,
per
right?
credit hour, I believe. Yeah, but this is kind of an unfair question, Luke. Has athletics really done enough to market themselves to the student body for that to happen?
See that type of question, that's a tough question because I think, if you would have asked this question and put this vote
During football season?
during football season, I think it's definitely going to be a yes. But with the recent, I know like tennis had a bad year. The kind of like the non big time sports. I know bowling, they just wrapped up in Vegas, disappointing it finished there, but really good team season. Colin, with how kind of the baseball and basketball, so I know softball is kind of the outlier there, but I don't know. Hopefully, you'd like to see it go through. I remember they put a very similar, um, a very similar type proposal whenever we were both in school there. That was my sophomore year, I believe. I think it was, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't think I don't think marketing is or the athletics has been the best with marketing it. Whether that's IM, um, whether that's the actual school, I don't know. I don't think so. But I
Yeah,
think that was the kind of the big issue in 2021 when they did this. It just kind of popped up out of nowhere, and everyone was saying, like even I was, and even though I was, pretty involved in the media and student media, student radio, we were all kind of like, well, what is this? I mean, $3 a credit hour going up. If you're taking, 16, 8, some people are taking 18 hours. And you're like, oh, that's a big raise. And it just kind of came up out of nowhere. So a lot of people, for good reason, said no, rejected it just because it was like, just kind of came up out of nowhere. But
yeah.
I think if they promoted a little bit more, like you're saying, but I don't really know. How do you promote? It's like promoting taxing, in a way. It's like, how do you promote that?
Well, I think, but this could be a key, because it could raise a couple million a year. I've seen some estimations, a couple million a year for the next 5 years. So give or take, that's I think it's about 7 to 10 million. I'm not really too exactly sure on the exact numbers. It's weird. It's interesting. I don't know, but it's there is another thing that is coming up though. They started doing this last year, and it seemed pretty successful. The SHSU Giving Day on April 22nd, 2025, where for one day, 8 hours, 7 minutes, and 9 seconds, 1879. For those that don't know, alumni, parents, and this is I'm reading off of the SHSU website. Alumni, parents, friends, and Bearcat fans from all over can come together to get online to make a difference, to support their favorite college program, scholarship, or university initiative, and that is meaningful to them. So this could be an opportunity. This could be an interesting. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. I know this. I know it could sound boring, but it'd be interesting to see where a lot of alumni are investing their money in when it comes to the university wide and athletic specifically. Softball got a lot of money last year. Softball got a good amount of money. They probably used that money to get Lexi Smith, probably the pitching coach. I don't know how exactly that worked, and I'm just purely speculating here. But yeah, it's gonna ultimately the same future of Sam Houston sports is gonna come down to the alumni support, not just when it comes to the emotional support, but also the physical support, like showing up to games and donating money as well, giving money to athletics as a whole, because there's still a lot to go. It's not just the press box it's not just the press box. The press box itself is a big project of its own, but there's a lot more work to do.
Have we done a podcast since they broke the news about
No,
that?
no. I mean, oh yeah, that's right. Football going to Shell Energy Stadium. Yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that. It's kind of just more common news. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I'm a little disappointed, I think, in just because the distance between Huntsville and Shell Energy. That's a good hour, 30-minute, car ride down from Huntsville to Houston. But on the good part of that, a lot of alumni in the Houston area, like yourself, like many people. I know a bunch of people in the Woodlands, Spring, Conroe, Willis, Houston, Greater Houston area. South of Houston, north of Houston. Um, it'll be a little bit closer for them. So I like. I think that's a really good spot. I think Chiller Energy it's a very cool looking stadium. It's definitely a soccer stadium. Like, Colin, I don't know if you've ever been there. I've been there once. I
Oh,
got to go on like a little tour of it, and it's a very cool looking stadium. Very high tech. Very modern. It's a soccer stadium. It's very similar to like the FC Dallas Stadium when we went and played up there in the national championship game.
Yeah.
Very similar to that, uh, but then I look at the other like options, like NRG. I don't think would be a very good spot just because the size, and I don't know if Saints could afford that, like type having to use it all the time. I don't know if the Texans would even offer that. Um, and I also like the fact that Texas Southern uses the stadium too. So it's not foreign to Shell Energy Stadium and the people that work there. Um, Kind of the what it takes. So I think all things considering, I'd say it's a B to B plus. Uh, I would have liked it to be closer to Huntsville, but for the students, um, but it's only temporary, so
Yeah.
it's 1 year,
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of what you have
and
to
it's only how many? It's only 4 or 5 games,
five,
right?
five,
So
five. Yeah.
5 games. Yeah.
And they had
Yeah.
to move the UNLV game a day like ahead or something. I can't remember when it was, but that could be a potential nationally televised game. Especially it's UNLV against Sam Houston, both teams that made the waves in the group of five. I'm very that could be a potential nationally televised games where I'm really going with. That's August 29th. Yeah, they moved it to Friday. It was on a Saturday, and then really the longest stretch you have of home games is two straight October 9th and October 15th, Thursday and Wednesday respectively, back to back in the October, Conference USA midweek October um games nationally televised. So and then you have UNLV, Jack State, UTEP, Delaware, who come to town on my birthday, November 15th, and then FIU on November 29th to end the season. So yeah, it's a very weird situation. I get it. It's a very weird situation, but honestly, I think it was the best decision to make out of a bad situation.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. It was kind of a forced hand, and it was something that needed to happen with the renovation. Um, the press box, and I know, it was just outdated, super old, cramped. Very very much in the works there, and soon it'll be with the stadium. Pretty soon after that, hopefully. But
Yeah.
I'm just glad that we're getting closer and closer to that, and there's definitely been, it's all over Twitter and Instagram, the progress that they're making. Students see it every day, which is exciting there on the press box. Colin, I don't know the last time you saw the construction, um, but what I've seen online, it looks very good. So we're
Yeah.
working closer and closer.
We are 129 days exactly until the kickoff to football season, August 23rd. So I'm very keen to see where they're going to hold their fall camp as well. If they're going to be in Huntsville ISD Stadium again, or is it going to be are they able to hold it at Bauer Stadium around the construction? I feel like depending on what the schematics is, probably not. But I don't know. We'll see. So we're gonna before we head to our final segment, just kind of overall, how excited are you about football in 2025?
Obviously, there's definitely excitement there to be had. What an answer that is! Wow. New coach, a lot of new coaching staff, brand new. Playing at Shell Energy is a little underwhelming on that side, but definitely there's a lot of question marks that we're gonna see. We're gonna see answered. I don't really know what to expect, and I think that's probably the best thing I could ask for. In a way, it's not like we're going into a season that you already know you're going to be disappointed in, or super high expectations. I don't think are there with just the roster turnover.
6 wins,
but I think building off. Oh, okay.
I'm hoping for 6 wins. The key word is hoping.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's kind of the goal. I don't know if we can ask for another 10-win season like we had like last year, and we weren't even asking for that, right? We were asking for a bowl game, and
yeah,
we were super surprised and ended up the way it went. But
can we now be honestly for real here that we made it because of the defense?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Hunter Watson, the defense and Hunter Watson.
Yeah, Hunter Watson. Yeah, it was the up and down season of Hunter Watson, which that's another like really fun thing to think about. And we can't really talk about it much right now just because we're so far away. But the quarterback situation that we're gonna have this year, I mean, transfers coming in. Local guy Woodlands went to Wisconsin, and now it's Sam Houston,
the Locke kid from Rockwall.
There's a lot of questions that we just don't know, Colin, which is very fun, and it gives us stuff to talk about throughout the off season, which will be good for us. But
yeah, and things will get better as soon as you and I start settling down a little bit too when it comes to the schedule, our schedules and all that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, whenever we get into I think when we get to July and August, both of us will really be able to settle down and really hammer this thing home. But I don't know. From a 1 to 10, I'd probably say I'm a 7 in excitement.
Okay.
And in expectation, fair. I have no idea what to expect. I mean, I really don't. Okay. Probably in a 5 expectation.
Yeah. Well, I would love to see if we can nab an interview with Phil Longo to see to maybe give us a better perspective on things. To give us obviously he's the guy, he's the head coach, so he knows a lot. He knows way more than anybody. So, but anyway, we're gonna wrap things up in the next segment. Some good old football talk for you. I didn't think we were going to go too much into football, but hey, there we go. Talk a little bit of football, especially since with how it is right now. It's been kind of a slow news week, news world over the past few weeks, but now it's been starting to pick up, especially with softball doing their thing, and just baseball, baseball being baseball. When we come back, Sam Houston men's basketball picked up a big commitment, Isaiah Manning, and I actually got some information on him. We'll get to that coming up next. I think y'all are gonna like. I think y'all might be excited about this guy, but I got some good information. But you'll hear that next here on Sam Houston Sports Talk. Stay tuned. Final segment here for Sam Houston Sports Talk. Luke Scott, Colin Neal. I got an announcement, folks. I am 3 days sober from Reign energy drinks. Oh man, it felt weird for a little bit, Luke, because I got a very bad headache yesterday, and the caffeine deficiency was like, oh, it was getting to me, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Had to take a bump of that energy drink, huh?
Nah, I was scratching myself, man, but just it's kind of a good way to like get a bad habit out of the way, not drinking energy drinks so much. So but to end things off here for this pod, I wanted to talk a little bit about the latest Sam Houston men's basketball commitment from the portal from TCU. Isaiah Manning from Mansfield, Texas, went to Mansfield Legacy High School, redshirt sophomore coming into this upcoming season. 6'8", 220, redshirted in 2023-2024. He then in this redshirt freshman season, he appeared in 24 games, averaging a little above 7 minutes per game, 2 points per game. 43 of 57 shot attempts came from three-point range. And so he seems like a three-point shooter. But I also wanted to ask good old head coach Chris Mudge. I talked to him, and he a little bit, and he this is what he told me about Isaiah. He said Isaiah is a very talented guard in the mold of a Savion Flag. Positional size, can really shoot, good ball handling, and competes. He has a very high IQ and is an awesome young man. People will really like him. So when you hear that, Luke, what's your reaction?
Yeah, well, definitely intrigued, right? Whenever you're able to combine kind of the ability that we've heard about this guy and the size and the comp there to Savion Flag, we understand of kind of what Savion Flag brought to Sam Houston. A very electric scorer, a guy that not just scored the ball well, but really rebounded for the team and really made some big shots for us a few years ago. Yeah, definitely intrigued. It's good to see, coming off a tough season and trying to rebound off that and trying to, to kind of pick ourselves up, and getting a guy like Manning could definitely be, a big time addition. I know he didn't get much time to play at TCU, and that's kind of where really, that's what guys need at this point. Coming out of high school, they need playing time, and they just need to kind of figure things out and figure out what they're going to be, in college basketball. If whatever they decide, or wherever they do decide to go, they need to be able to play. And I think this could be a very good addition. And we know Coach Mudge is a good recruiter, and so I think there's a lot of, possibilities. I think there's a lot of good mojo happening around the program right now, even off a tough season, and we'll see. I think it's a very interesting and very fun addition.
Yeah, I think just the way it was described to me, I was very surprised. I was like, whoa, that's something I was not expecting. Because listen, Savion Flag is one of the best 1 year guys I've ever, because he transferred from Texas A&M to play out his graduate year at Sam Houston in 2021 to 2022 season under Hooten. In my first year at Sam Houston, I got to see Savion Flag play, and dude was electric, man. He was athletic. He was clutch, and I know he's playing pro ball still overseas in Europe. I think he's in Greece now, actually. Not the last time I checked up on his, looking up where he's been. And I'm excited to see, but still got a long way to go. Some more portal news for men's basketball. Eric Taylor, who entered the portal after the season was over, he is now committed to, and seems like he's officially signed to Presbyterian. So and Khalifa Sacco also is committed to Houston. Interesting get there for Houston to get Khalifa Sacco. But that's really all there is to it right now. I know they've been hosting. For word on the street was that they hosted a visit today. Sam Houston men's basketball did. I think I know who it was. I think it might have been Trans Trujillo. I think this kid from Snow College. I don't know much information. I think because he was reportedly going to be visiting at Sam, but don't take my word for it. All I know is that there was definitely a visit that was going on but I think that's kind of my guess who it was. So I don't know. Gonna be probably something that comes out within the next few hours when I'm editing this and trying to put it out before sunset today. But yeah, that will do it for us here on Samuelson Sports Talk. Luke, it's good to be back, and hopefully we can make one either later on this week or early next week when the baseball softball series is end, and hopefully we can get some more information on where football is looking at when it comes to the recruitment part of things, especially with the spring portal open, and maybe some more news on men's basketball. So good to get one out here and have a little bit of fun and catch up, and because we haven't talked in a while. But Luke, just want to say congratulations, man. You got a big boy job now.
I do. I've graduated. Now I'm moving up to the Dallas area. So yeah, got a lot of moving parts, man. But
I was about to say, don't say exactly where you're going.
I know. Can't be too careful. I will be in the vicinity of between Corpus Christi and Amarillo. So I will be somewhere in there. No, in the Dallas area. So it'll be cool. A little bit further away from Huntsville than where I am right now. So it'll be maybe a little bit tougher to get to games and whatnot, but I'm definitely going to still try to make a few. We'll see whenever it all kind of tames down a little bit and we get settled in. So no, but good to see you. Good to be talking to you. Good to be talking Sam Houston always. We're kind of wrapping up the athletic year and so, not a great end, but definitely had a great season.
Yeah, well, that'll do it for us here. I was Luke Scott. I'm Colin Neal saying so long for now, and be sure you follow us, subscribe to us here on YouTube, and for those listening on Spotify, be sure you hit a follow as well, and wherever you may be listening to this. The audio version of this pod is on Spotify, so if you're on the road and if you were in the middle of watching but you have to get going, hey, just pop up Spotify, pick up where you left off, and then continue listening, man. But that'll do it for us. Colin Neal, Luke Scott. So long for now. As always, eat 'em up, cats. Keep an eye out for the new pod next week.
Eat 'em up, cats.